Alright guys, here is your next video for you. It's going to be this one right here of dilations. So let's take a look at this one here and do this one together. We'll get this one finished up and then we'll be kind of having a quiz probably coming up here shortly. So the dilations, you will need a calculator, and if you do have your cheat sheet there for you. So what a dilation does, it's going to change your object by making it bigger, or it's going to make it smaller. And it does that by what is called a scale factor. Okay, so your scale factor is going to make something either bigger or smaller. So if you have a scale factor bigger than 1, it makes it bigger. If your scale factor is smaller than 1, your shape is going to get smaller. Okay, so what happens here is these things are going to either shrink or they're going to expand. It doesn't matter what they're going to do, but it depends on the scale factor that you have. So in this case here, the pre-image and the image here, they are not the same. They're not congruent because they are different shapes. Okay, they're the same shape, it's just different sizes. And you can see right here a picture in the first example there for you. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. We have a couple of things to take a look at. It says right here that our scale factor is 1/2. So 1/2, our scale factor here is 1/2. So we know that it's going to get smaller because it's smaller, because 1/2 is smaller than 1. And you can see here's our original. I'm gonna put here in the green. And then you see there's the second part, the copy. You can see how the copy shrunk. So how do we know how to do this? Well, what we do is we take the points that have been given to us. They're right up here. And it says we're going to multiply each one by 1/2. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to take the points 1 times 1/2 and 3 times 1/2. And that's point S. I'm going to take point T. I'm going to do 4 times 1/2 and 3 times 1/2. I'm going to take U and V and do the same thing. 5 times 1/2, 1 times 1/2, and then 2 times 1/2 and 1 times 1/2. And when I do that, I get my new points, which is my S prime, my T prime, U prime, and V prime. Okay, so 1 times 1/2 is 0.5. 3 times 1/2 is 1.5. So there's my new point right there. My next one here is 4 times 1/2, which is 2. 3 times 1/2, which is 1.5. And so I have my new point T there. And you see that it shrunk, went from here to here. 5 times 1/2 is 2.5. 1 times 1/2 is 0.5 or 1/2. And so it's right there. Oh, right there it is. And then the last one, 2 times 1/2 will go to 1. 1 times 1/2 is 0.5. And I have my new points. There they are. Okay. If I look at example 2, so basically all I did there was just take the scale factor and multiply them. So in this case, I'm going to look here, and I have a scale factor of 2. So my scale factor is bigger than 1. So I'm getting larger. Okay. So I'm going to graph these first, and then I'm going to figure out the new ones. So C is at -2, 1, 2, down -1. There's C. D is at 1, 1, And then E is at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, negative 3. And I make my triangle. So there's my pre-image. Now I need to find my image. Okay. So it tells me right here to find my new points, I need to multiply each one by 2. So I'm going to take C's points, negative 2 times 2, and negative 1 times 2. It's going to tell me C prime. So there's my new 2 points. I'm going to take my D, 1 times 2, 1 times 2. That will give me my new point there at 2, 2. And then I take my last one at 2 times 2, and negative 3 times 2. And that will give me my new point at 4, negative 6. And then I can graph those. Let's put them in a different color here. So I'm going to graph those at negative 4, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You see your C primes right there. 2, 2. Start at 0, 0. 1, 2. 1, 2. There's D prime. And then E prime will be start here, go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's E prime. And you can see that our picture got bigger by a scale of 2. Pretty cool. I like it. So this is just kind of dilated. So if your scale factor is bigger than 1, you're going to get bigger. If your scale factor is smaller than 1, you get smaller. Okay, so that's something you got to think about as you move forward from here. Okay, so I take a look at the next one here, the same one. I can graph this one. I'm not going to graph it just for time's sake. You can do that. I'm going to take these points here, and it says my scale factor is going to be 3. So that means my scale factor is bigger than 1, so these points are going to get bigger. So I'm going to take the 3, and I'm multiplying each one of these points by 3. Each one of those ordered pairs, each x and y value gets multiplied by 3 because we're going to make it bigger by tripling it. And we end up getting our answer to be 6, 3 for our new point. We get negative 6, 0. I'm sorry, negative 6, 0, 0, negative 6, 0, 6. So notice that these all ballooned up. They all changed. So these points are triple the size of this. So this was your pre-image. This was your original. We scaled it up by a factor of 3, which makes it bigger because it's bigger than 1. And we got these points just simply taking these 2 times 3, 0 times 3, bam, negative, and so forth. Okay? You can plot them and you can see that it's going to be bigger as you move from there. All right? So number 4, we actually want to find the scale factor. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So the scale factor, we want to find the scale factor. So the scale factor, what we do is we take the image over the pre-image. So the scale factor is going to be the image over the pre-image. And we divide it. Okay, but we can think about these for a minute. Okay, so I have a toy that's 2 inches tall, and actual is 16 inches tall. If I go from the toy to the tricycle, what is the scale factor? So you're going from the toy to the tricycle. So you're taking the toy that's 2 inches, and you're going to the actual toy, which is 16 inches. So we are getting bigger. So my scale factor has to be bigger than 1. Okay? So that's going to help me out to decide which ratio is correct. Okay. So what I do is I take these two numbers and I'm going to say, all right, 16 divided by 2 gives me 8, or 2 over 16, which gives me 1 over 8, which is like 0.025, something like that. We know that our scale factor has to be bigger than 1 because we're going from 2 to 16. So my answer here is 8. So there it is. I went 16 divided by 2. I know that my scale factor is 8. My toy is 8 times smaller, or my bicycle is 8 times bigger than the toy there. So my scale factor was 8. Okay. Same instance that what we do here. I'm going to draw a box. So I got 2 boxes. I got one here, and then I got another one here. Okay, so one box here is 4 by 3, and the other one's 2 by 1.5. I want to know what is the scale factor dilation. Okay, I have this box, but I need this box. So look at those numbers. So I have this box that's a 4 by 3, and I need to get it to a 2 by 1.5. So am I getting bigger or smaller? I'm getting smaller. So the scale factor has to be less than 1. So that's going to help me out to know which is my correct ratio. So all I need to do is just take, so these two are matching sides. So let's check. Is it going to be 2 divided by 4 or 4 divided by 2? So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 4 is 1/2, or 0.5. So which one gives me a scale factor less than 1 because I'm getting smaller? Well, it's this one right there. Okay. So I just used some things to infer. So my scale factor is by 1/2. So this one was similar to what we did here on the first one. So your scale factor here was, I'm just taking this and I was just basically cutting this in half. Could you take the 3 and the 1/2? Yes, you could. It'd be 1.5 divided by 3. That would also give me 0.52 as well. Okay. Because remember, I'm getting smaller. If I was going to get bigger, it would have been 3 divided by 1/2. Okay. So that's basically how I think about those to make my accommodation there for that. Okay. So there's your whole unit there in the nutshell there. You have some of these here to do. If your scale factor is less than 1, we've talked about that. What happens to your figure? Does it get bigger, smaller, or stay the same? If it's greater than 1, does it get bigger, smaller, or stay the same? So you should be able to know that. The next one here is you need to take these points. So like J here is at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. K is at 1, 1, and L is at 4, 0. And you're doing a scale factor of 2, so you're multiplying all of those 2 numbers by 2 and getting your new set of points. Okay? So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, and there's your new points. All right? Same thing here for these. Write down your new ordered pairs. So I'll give those to you here. This is at 2, negative 2. I'm sorry, 2, negative 2. This is at negative 1, 0. This is at 1, 1, 2, 3. And this is at 3, 2. And you're doing a scale factor of 3. Okay. You have a couple more here. Same thing here. You're going to do this one. Write down your ordered pairs. This is negative 4, 2, 6, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 2, 4. And you're multiplying these by 1/2. Scale factor is a half, so I'm getting smaller because my scale factor is less than 1. I'm getting smaller. Okay? So your next couple ones here, 6, 7, and 8. It says that there are different cities that are 100 miles apart. The two cities measure 5 inches apart. From the map to real life, what is the scale factor? So I'm going from 5 to 100, so I'm getting bigger. So remember, it's either going to be 100 divided by 5 or 5 divided by 100. Remember, my scale factor is getting bigger. My scale factor should be more than 1 because I'm getting bigger. Okay, so which one is it? Okay, when you do those division, which one gives me scale factor bigger than 1? Okay, same thing here. What is the scale factor? So I'm going from this point here to those. So all you need to do is, you're just using those. You need to remember. So I have J, which is at 1, 4. I have J prime, which is at 0.5, 2. So remember, it's going to be J prime divided by J. So just pick one of these points. 2 divided by 4. Tell me what that scale factor is. Okay. Next one down here, I have a 6 by 9, and I want it to be 5 by 7. So I'm going from the 6 by 9 to a 5 by 7. So I'm getting smaller. Actually, no, I'm getting bigger here in this case because this is inches. So this is 0.5. So I'm going from 0.5, I'm sorry, from 7.5. So I'm getting bigger. So remember, here's my pre-image. Here's my image. Just going to take those two. Remember, my scale factor is the image divided by the pre-image. So just pick the points that match up and divide it out. Okay. The next one here, if your scale factor is 2, what is the new coordinates of B? So B here is at 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So B is at 4, 2. And if I multiply it by 2, what's my next set? The coordinates of P prime, scale factor of 3. So P is at 6, 2, and I'm multiplying that by 3. What would be my new thing there? And what are the 3 that give me congruent or same size? They don't change the size. Which one of these don't change the size? All right, that's pretty much it. I know you can do it. Best of luck. See ya later, alligators. After a while, crocodile.